Hello everyone, my name is Harsh Kacharia. I work at Codalio in AI for sales and marketing. Today we will get an entire overview of our PRD to code pipeline, where we can see that we have to describe with the simple idea, and it will generate the specifications, which is what we call PRD, and then it will generate the UI prototype and code, and it will deploy the application on Heroku, and we can test and review and scale it. So here is an idea that I want to build an app for, which is a build homestay, a hotel management system for independent hostels and backpackers properties. Guests should be able to browse available rooms and register an account and book a stay online. Staff needs a dashboard to manage room inventory, check guests in and out, and task and track occupancy. Include a visual dashboard with occupancy and revenue charts, plus AI such as dynamic pricing. Start with the private room bookings. Bed level booking comes in the later phase. So this was just a simple prompt that I've typed over here, and when I click on start building my app, as you can see over here that it has generated this PRD. And as you can see over here that this is the problem statement that it identified, which is managing hotel reservations and room inventory manually leads to double bookings. So this is the problem statement that we have. This is the solution for it. Now, as we can see over here that these are the target audience that it found, which is guest and staff as illustrated into this prompt. And it also captured two phases implementation. The first phase would contain these features. The second phase would contain this feature. It later on identified the key features of it, which is a role-based navigation, user authentication, guest registration, and from that to the reservation management as well. And as you can see over here, the user flow. Now, what we have to see over here is the detailed work of our agents that basically narrows it down to the fine details, which we can see over here is the guest registration and login stuff, authentication, and all sorts of other things. And we also defined our success metrics, who could be our competitors and our vision. Not only that, but it also generates the design. Here we have listed down the principles. We can see the user personas, Elena and Marcus. This is a solo backpacker, and this is the coordinator. So we can see both of those goals and pain points over here. This is the user journey where we can see the guest registration and login flow of the system, and staff managing room inventory. So in detail overview again, this is a sitemap for our website. Here's the navigation aspect of it. The next step is the market sizing. Over here in the target sizing, we can see the total addressable market, SAM and SOM. Not only that, but also we can see the competitive context, key assumptions, and scope and category. Now, this was just a business requirement. Later on, it comes to the technical requirement where we can see the scope estimation. And this is the main important thing because it will show us what would the traditional method now would have costed us if we were trying to build an application like this, and what it would cost us with the Codalio method. And we can further illustrate this into our features, which is a core MVP, user authentication, guest registrations, and everything. It will also list down the tasks that those agents would be doing. And we can. The next step is architecture document. Over here, we can see the applications architecture, the database, DBMS schemas, and everything in detail. PRD also illustrates the user stories, where we can see the role-based navigation, acceptance criteria, and all the key features, acceptance criteria. And this is the quick feature about manage room inventory, staff and new room. Also, it allows us to add any specific requirements or the specification over here. As you can see that in the go to UI prototype, we can type, or we can also ask for suggestions. Or if we don't understand anything, we can always click on elaborate more, which would define what it means. And later on, we can also export these versions of this into the PDF, JSON, HTML, and any other format we like. Now we can later on come to this UI prototyping, and we can choose an organization. We can connect this to the GitHub and get our organization listed over here. We can see our UI prototype. UI prototype. Book as a guest. This is the login, register. This is the app where we can see the dashboard, rooms, available rooms, how many are the upcoming arrivals, what is there to be fixed in the maintenance aspect of it. These are the upcoming arrivals guest list, and these are the rooms available. We can also like see based on the available room, occupied, maintenance, and how many guest capacity of the accommodation. Here we can see the reservations, and these are the APIs route. Over here is the same thing. If you want to make any suggestion or a request to change the prototype, we can check it over here. Now, here's a beautiful aspect of this. Whenever we say we want to change, let's say, a dashboard in a different color or a different setting, it will automatically sync with the PRD so that we don't have to change the PRD, just to change the UI prototype. It will all be synced into a SAM pipeline. And over here is the code generation aspect of it, where we can see the view code generation of open repository, or we can choose the organization. I click on the view code generation, and it will open up this preview. We can see that we can further open the running preview URL in the full browser tab, so we can get more precise understanding of what it is and what we want to do. These are the development tasks that it did, which means that it has plan generated based on our PRD, where we can see the setup, landing screen, login screen, and all sorts of other things. Also, the develop and aspect of it, UI integration, test, and review. So it passed down on all those parameters and successfully executed the code. Now these are the testing parameter where we can see that unit test is like basically done by every component, whether it's working or not. And there's Cypress test where we can see the UI testing and buttons. And this is the code review aspect of it, where we can see all of those reviews that have been done with the PRD respect. Now we can also see the PRD criteria. It will list down all the PRDs area that we specified, and it will go down to this implementation wise and see if all of those things have implemented or not. So there's nothing missing. Everything, whichever we have mentioned or reviewed in the PRD, would be in the code. So there's nothing missing, and this is what we call at the Codalio a sync software factory end-to-end process, where there's nothing missing, nothing lacking, and everything can be fixable even after the implementation of the code. Like I said, if we want to describe what it should create, or like including a clear outline of the new feature, update user interfaces, we can just type, and it will update the code as well as the PRD, so it all syncs in the same environment. Now, if you want to deploy this app, we can deploy it with the using Heroku, and this is the link to deployment where we can click, and here is a terminal tab where we can see development task running step by step. And if you click on this auto development button over here, it will open up this page where we can see this plan, development, UI integration, and test, and review. So all of these steps we can select based on our preferences and need, and we can just click on apply. And this is the Codalio agent, which means that describe the new feature, update, user interface, and changes if there's any necessary things. Platform.